Stepping into the light, a strategic pivot. I thought about making this a book, and I might someday. I probably will someday. But for right now, I want to talk about how this government operated or private sector operated partnership with the government as a backup government strategy or a more advanced model for teamwork with the government shares a definition similar to communism once you do something like this. Because your private sector is your means of production, it's just the government isn't controlling that. That's the subtle difference. But we've still organized in a similar way where we're trying to mobilize our economy for large scale goals. And it's valuable to have some sort of a strategy to do that. We can see positives in other government strategies, other government structures for trying to incorporate more expertise. I personally believe if we all come together in a model like this, that's a path to world peace because it's a path to mutual respect. And we make that the goal as we sell this, that this does highlight strengths of different government strategies. We don't want this to be a, we're the best and we're so much better than everybody else. That's not a world peace mentality. You want somebody who champions that there are other centralized structures that other governments have for mobilizing their economy, which allow them to pivot more easily. Now, without a tool like this, it's always going to be harder for a government to pivot. But with a tool like this, every government can bond over the reality it's going to be easier to pivot. But we should launch this recognizing that we've taken some inspiration from communist models. And we should use that as a strategy to de-trigger people on this word communism such that we have deeper conversations. We need to social engineer that reality where we're trying to dig deeper to see different structures, different patterns. We're trying to understand operationally why those might have different benefits. And we have very deep conversations and tools for having these very deep conversations as we explore these different bids and strategies for how we organize, for how we build these different layers and manage these different layers. And if we come together with a document like the Articles of Incorporation of a nationally owned enterprise, a joint owned enterprise like this, then we'll have something that continues our separation of powers into the modern age in a very logical way. And I believe we'll get nations to bond over this, how this makes them safer and more secure. Specifically, the separation of powers as it relates to these different platform levels, such that we can have this more advanced security. And as I've said, you want to make sure no one entity has the ability to sort of sway the overall platform or the overall structures to their benefit. You want to have this very democratic way of observing and collaborating on these very key layers which make security possible. And so stepping into the light, understanding those different government strategies, and championing. You take a strategy like this and you champion it to Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Putin will say, you know what? You get Ukraine to want to do something like this, we'll do this. You get Ukraine to want to do something like this, and we will end our war. Because it's going to be a strategy for much healthier teamwork. And I'm very confident we could help if there are any economic or industrial benefits that Russia was really trying to gain. I'm very confident we as the world can help them implement other strategies which will boost their economy, and they won't have to worry about the economic benefits of some of the territories that they believe are important in Ukraine. And so again, long-term strategy, mutual appreciation, trying to find ways to make one another stronger as we all move forward, better strategy, mutually assured success for the AI age, not mutually assured destruction. Much more, we're talking about limitless resources once we perfect AI. We still have to manage our numbers, though, is always going to be a part of that. That's part of managing the resources. If our numbers get too high, it doesn't matter how well we become interstellar. I mean, there's a really good chance that we can think about growth models that are lasting. And I mean, you expand this out to 10,000 years, there's going to be a plateau somewhere, and then it's going to be very important that we hand things off the right way. And these structures, the ways that we could host different challenges through a continuous improvement model like this, will give us really solid placement strategies for those key levels, often into forever, through a strategy like this. Thank you for watching. Appreciate you all.